So this morning I got a knock on my door and I go outside to find out what it's about, and I see a package on the ground, a package which I wasn't expecting. And I look down at the label of the package and find out that it's a package from Google. So I open it up and I look inside, and what I find inside is the brand new Google Pixel 5a. Now, why was I so surprised that I was getting a package from Google? Well, first of all, that's crazy that Google is sending me packages, so there was that. But also because I didn't even know the Pixel 5a was coming out. The Google Pixel 5a is one of the quietest phone updates that I've ever seen. In fact, like I said, I didn't even know this phone was coming out until it was on my doorstep. What's up, everybody? I'm Seth Fowler, and today I'm unboxing the brand new upcoming Google Pixel 5a. First off, I want to give a huge thank you to Google and Team Pixel for sending over this phone early. I really appreciate the love that you guys have been showing me, and I'm super excited to check this phone out. And also, if this is your first time watching the channel, maybe you came from my main channel or something like that, make sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell down below if you want to see more tech unboxings just like this. But I've got to say, at first glance, this phone looks a lot like the Pixel 4a 5G, and the reason for that is that it's pretty similar. But why don't we rip this box open and find out what makes the Google Pixel 5a such an interesting new phone. I mean, even the packaging of this phone looks very similar to that phone. In fact, almost identical. You've actually got the same sort of picture of the phone on the bottom left corner of the box. You've got the Google logo, the Pixel 5a name, and then the 5G logo on the front. On the sides of the box, as you would expect, you've got the Google logos, and then on the back of the box, you've got hashtag Team Pixel, as well as some of the specs that are in the phone. One thing I found kind of interesting about this new Google Pixel 5a is that the colorway of this phone is mostly black, because it's not a black phone, it's a mostly black phone. Google just loves to put adjectives before the colors of their phones. Like, I think the last one was called almost black or something like that. This one's just mostly black, so I'm assuming it's not completely black. But let's rip the tabs on the sides of the box and find out how black it actually is. So here we go. Let's slide the top of the box off. Ooh, very nice. It is an almost black phone. There you go. So I've got to be honest, even though this phone looks almost identical to the Pixel 4a, it does feel a little bit nicer, and that's because they've actually changed up the body of this phone to a full aluminum body rather than a polycarbonate body, which makes it a little bit heavier and feel slightly more premium, even though the finish of the phone is still that sort of soft touch rubber, which I actually don't mind. But before we go any farther with the phone and rip off the plastic, let's see what else is inside the box. So the first thing you'll find is this SIM removal tool. And they actually give you these really simple instructions to show you how to remove the SIM or the SIM card tray. And then as you pull this piece out, it looks like the instructions are in there. Some nice little small square instructions that I keep dropping everywhere. So it shows you how to transfer files from your old Pixel to your new Pixel. And then inside the box, you've got your 18-watt charger as well as your adapter from USB-A to USB-C, which is much appreciated. So let me pull this out. I'm probably gonna charge the phone maybe before we go any farther in the unboxing. And then of course, you've also got your USB-C cable right there to plug into the charger. But that's pretty much all there is inside the box. Let's take a quick look at the phone. So here it is once again, the Pixel 5a. Really quick, let's peel off the plastic on the front of the phone and try and capture the sound on the mic. Ooh, very nice. Man, this is a nice looking slab of metal and glass. I really like the way this phone looks. And I've got to say, the mostly black color on the back of the phone, that's a very, I guess, accurate way of describing it, because it is genuinely mostly black. It's not completely black. There's definitely some green hits in there or something. I think it's green. Maybe greenish, grayish. It's a very, very subtle color scheme. Like, I would think this phone was black unless I saw it in, I guess, studio lights or bright light, but it definitely has sort of a green tint to it. So there are a few physical changes on this phone from the Pixel 4a 5G. The first, obviously, is the color. The second is actually the power button right here on the side. So this new power button is textured, and it comes in this sort of like, I guess, light green or sort of misty green color. And I really like the textured power button because in your pocket, you can feel where the power button is versus all the other buttons. And honestly, I think it's something I'm really gonna like because it's gonna make it so much easier to find the power button in my pocket. Or I guess like at night when I'm in bed trying to watch YouTube videos or something like that. Some other small exterior changes are that the screen has gotten ever so slightly larger. It's now 6.34 inches diagonally, which is slightly bigger than last year's model. It is, of course, still a 1080p 60 Hz OLED display, so the actual like tech inside the display isn't any different. The phone still has a headphone jack on the top, which is nice to see. For a long time, I thought I was gonna really miss the headphone jack being on phones, but now I don't think I have any headphones that actually use that sort of jack. I think they're all wireless. I really thought it was going to be a much more painful transition, but I'm not like an audiophile. Like I don't need to listen to the highest quality audio off my phone, so I don't really need a wired connection. It is definitely nice to see though, and I know a lot of people who don't want to spend the money for wireless headphones can still use that, so that's definitely a nice touch. The bottom of the phone still has the same speaker setup. You still got your USB-C port on the bottom. Unfortunately, there is no wireless charging on this phone like the previous version, so you're just gonna have to charge through the USB-C, which I really prefer anyway. Wireless charging is great sometimes. It is relatively convenient, but it doesn't charge as fast, and I don't really use any of the wireless chargers in my house anyway, so it's a lot easier just to plug in the phone and charge it up as quickly as possible. The camera module on this phone is still very similar to the Pixel 4a 5Gs. You've still got the 12 megapixel standard camera and the 16 megapixel ultra wide camera. However, you don't have the laser autofocus anymore. I'm not sure why they got rid of that. Maybe they don't need that anymore. Maybe the camera's just got really great autofocus as it is. I have no idea. But one reason that people are really drawn to the Pixel line besides the stock Android is the fact that it has a really great camera. And because the cameras are unchanged from last year's version, they're still just as good. Oh, one other exterior thing before we power the phone on. This new version, the 5A, is apparently IP67 water and dust resistant, which is great because I don't think really any of the previous ones have been. Man, that screen looks good. That screen looks really, really good, especially with the hole punch cutout. I'm a big fan of hole punch cutouts. I really am. So of course, as you could have guessed from the name of this phone features 5G, so it's going to have super fast network speeds. Not only that, but apparently they upgraded the glass on the front of the screen to Gorilla Glass 6, so it should be a little bit stronger, which I think is always a good thing. As far as the processing power that's built into the Pixel 5a 5G, this phone features a Snapdragon 765G, which is actually the same processor that they used in last year's version. In addition to that, this phone still features 6 gigabytes of RAM as well as 128 gigabytes of internal storage. Oh yeah, and the rear fingerprint sensor, which is great. I love it. I don't know why not all phones have fingerprint sensors anymore, but I think they should. And I love the placement of it on Pixel phones. So your finger just like naturally slides over to this point, and it's so easy to unlock your phone. Now, even though the Pixel 5a is very similar to last year's 4a 5G in a lot of different ways, there are two pretty major changes. The first is the battery size. This phone now features a significantly larger 4,680 milliamp hour battery, which can only be a good thing because last year's version of this phone lasted for a pretty long time, but this one should last even longer. And then the other big change between this year's version of the phone and last year's version is that this year's version is now $50 cheaper. The retail price of the Google Pixel 5a 5G is now only $449. So not only are you getting a pretty great mid-range phone with a really great camera, you're getting it for $50 cheaper than last year, and $449 is not a bad price for a very competent phone. Now, to be honest, if you're looking for the highest end flagship, like the top of the line phone, you're gonna wanna wait for the Pixel 6, which should be coming out later this year. I don't actually know what the price point for the Pixel 6 will be, but it's probably going to be at least double of the Pixel 5a. So if you're looking for a mid-range or even budget model Android phone with stock Android, a great camera with a good amount of processing power, the Pixel 5a 5G is a great way to go. But that pretty much wraps up my unboxing of the brand new Pixel 5a 5G. Now, I would love to know your thoughts on this phone and whether this is a phone that you would consider picking up, so make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.